this video, I'll be talking about how at Credible we built, a revenue, an annual recurring revenue of X crores per annum, within the first 1.5 years, right? And here I'll also be talking about like what worked for us and what did not work for us, so that becomes easy for anyone building such solutions to, learn from the insights, right? So Credible wanted to build a direct to customer or direct to SME product. And before that, let me just talk about a little bit about SMEs. SMEs are very diverse with revenues ranging from 20 lakhs to 200 crores or even 500 crores for that matter. However, in terms of distribution, 99% have revenues turnovers less than 5 crores, right? And what this meant was, while there is a lot of need in terms of the solutions that SMEs require, and it's very diverse. However, not everything that leads to retention, that leads to or even acquisition, actually leads to monetization, right? So before I talk about how we monetized from SME successfully, I'll also talk about what our goal was and the challenges we faced and the experiments that we ran as well, right? So our goal was to build a direct to SME kind of a super app where SMEs are coming day in and day out to manage their working capital, which meant that it's not just offering credit. It also meant that we wanted to offer some tools, certain give them certain insights so that they can actually manage their company better with data and all of that, right? So we built our MVP for us was building insights and then soon after that credit as well. What we found was that credit is the biggest draw, right? So more than 90% of our users were getting acquired for credit. So which meant that we naturally our focus went to that a lot more. Now, what we realized is that because SMEs are very diverse in nature and the needs are very diverse. So it's not just offering one type of a loan is one, or one type of credit product is not enough. Number one, we have to ensure that even that particular credit product, let's say a simple business loan, is having high, let's say, dispersal rates or conversion rates. The second thing is we also had to build different products soon, to serve different needs. What I mean by this is, for example, there are SMEs which are part of certain ecosystems where they have stable business. That could be where they are either buying or selling from, let's say, larger corporations, which meant that because of stable relationships, the kind of product that they would need would be different. For example, businesses which are buying from large corporates would need a BNPL product. Businesses which are selling to large corporates would need invoice discounting, right? Where they get early payment for invoices that they've raised against the corporates. So this meant that we had to expand our PMF soon with adding new credit products. But who's offering the credit products, right? We also had to onboard a lot of NBFCs and banks as well. So within 6 months, we actually had a lot of discussions and we onboarded more than 12 to 15 banks. So what this essentially did was kind of create a marketplace. However, we wanted to ensure that the success rate is high, and therefore the kind of credit partners that we worked with were specializing in different areas. So there were banks which are specializing in typical credit products. There were NBFCs specializing in invoice discounting, or it could be BNPL, or it could be other credit products and all that, right? It could be credit lines and so many others. So what this meant was the conversion rates, number one, go up. It also meant that we had to build tools to suggest the right credit product to the right SME, and during the journey itself, because they're not going to come back again and again. And therefore, with the conversion rate going up, with the dispersal rate going up, we get a share in the revenue, whenever there is a dispersal that happens. So that was one way that we monetize. We also realized that credit, again, does not lead to big retention because SMEs typically look for credit, every few months or maybe once in a year or something like that, right? Except for use cases which are more frequent in nature, but that is that is only in very specific ecosystems or so. So we experimented other things, like, for example, offering insights, offering several tools, insights like how do you, how is my business running? How is, where exactly are my expenses and purchases going? Being really data driven, right? Like how product managers like to be. What we realized is a lot of the businesses, especially the small ones, it's not a good value proposition for them, because they say, I know how my business is running. My business is small enough. I know how it is running. Therefore, this is not value to me. Some of the larger ones where there are multiple teams involved, multiple geographies, it is of value. But we realized that this is not something which they're willing to pay for. And one important thing, the biggest takeaway for us was that SMEs today and SMEs all over the globe, especially in developing economies, are only willing to pay for something that increases their top line or increases their bottom line or helps them comply with local regulations. Right? Even credit obviously actually helps them increase their top line or bottom line indirectly, because it helps them bring stability to their own transactions and all that. Right? So if you see even the other companies today, that is what they're offering. That's how they're able to monetize. The other ones are the other solutions. While it may lead to retention, it may lead, but SMEs are not willing to pay for that. So I'll give you a couple of examples where we thought there'll be really good chance of monetization. We introduced a product called GST Super Search. It was because we realized that a lot of SMEs are doing GST searches because they are dealing with new businesses, and they before transferring money to a new business contact, they wanted to verify that this business is in fact real and they're filing GST on time and all of that. So we thought, why don't we offer bank account verification as a value-added service, right? So which meant that I'm verifying someone's GST. After that, before transferring money, I want to verify that bank account, whether the bank account name matches with the name as per GST. So this is something where we ran this experiment for about a month or so, about 1.5 months. And we soon realized that while people do find that valuable, they already have a way of indirect way of checking this. While it is not foolproof and it does not prevent fraud, it is good enough. Basically, what they were doing was just transferring, let's say, 1 rupee or 10 rupee to the person and checking if they got it, but they were not verifying whether actually this bank account belongs to the same business or not. But they were okay with taking that risk, right? Which was a surprise for us. So this is obviously not something which worked out from monetization, though it was solving a real problem. Again, so what it meant was it's not something that they're willing to pay for. So one successful monetization that we were able to do other than credit was that we realized that there are so many invoicing solutions, and with e-invoicing also coming up, all these invoicing products also coming up, or having their own invoicing, right? E-invoicing products in place. However, large corporates have their own formats, or they would prefer certain formats for invoices and invoicing and for verifications and all that. So we realized that, and some of the large corporates actually that we were working with wanted to co-build an invoicing solution that their suppliers could use, right? And this was something that we could monetize because they are part of an ecosystem, because the SMEs are also larger in size, and therefore rolling out this product, while it was within a specific ecosystem, was something that actually worked out for us. So yeah, in summary, I think I would say that what may lead to acquisition or retention may not always lead to monetization. As a thumb rule, we realize that think about what will help them increase their top line or bottom line, and also comply with local regulations, right? And again, look for that niche in the market, which would actually help you get started.